So there's this quiet revolution happening right now in classrooms and dorm rooms all over the world. You've got these AI tools, right? Like ChatGPT. And they can write whole essays, crunch complex problems. It's like having a super tutor on call 24/7. And all this power has kicked up this massive question, one that pretty much everyone in education is trying to answer.
So, what's that final little nudge that actually gets a student to use one of these things for their schoolwork? Is it all about getting that A plus, or is it more about seeing all your friends using it and feeling like you have to too? Well, we're going to dig into the evidence and see what we can find out. I mean, we all know the hype is real, right? This thing can pump out research papers, it can ace exams. It's a total game changer for how we think about the classroom. But okay, let's get past the headlines, the chatter on campus. What's really going on inside a student's head? What's that one little moment, that tipping point, where they finally go, all right, I'm going to give this a shot for my homework? So, how do we actually figure this out? Well, luckily for us, a brand new study from 2024 did all the detective work for us. They set out to solve this exact mystery, and honestly, what they found, it's pretty surprising. They went right to the source. They surveyed 241 graduate students over in Jordan to really get to the bottom of why they were, or weren't, using ChatGPT. The whole idea was to get past all the assumptions and find some actual hard data. So for their investigation, they kind of treated it like a crime scene. They zeroed in on three main suspects, three key factors they thought were the most likely culprits for influencing a student's choice. All right, let's meet the usual suspects. The researchers tested three big ideas, what they call performance expectation, effort expectation, and social influence. Sounds a bit academic, I know, but let's break down what each of those really means in plain English. Okay, first up, we have performance expectation. This one's pretty straightforward, probably the one you're already thinking of. It's all about whether a student believes that using ChatGPT will actually help them do better in school. It just boils down to that one simple, practical question. Is this thing actually going to help me get a better grade? All right, suspect number 2 is effort expectation. And this is all about how easy the thing is to use. I mean, think about it. We live in a world of super slick, intuitive apps on our phones. So this factor just measures how easy a student finds the tool. In other words, is this going to be a huge pain to figure out, or is it simple and straightforward? And that brings us to our final suspect, social influence. This is the classic power of the crowd, right? It's that feeling you get when people you respect, your friends, your classmates, maybe even your professors, think you should be using this thing. Yeah, it's just good old-fashioned peer pressure. Okay, so there you have it. Our three suspects are on the table. Is it useful? Is it easy to use? Or is it just peer pressure? The researchers took all the data from those 241 students and crunched the numbers to see which of these was the real driver. And believe me, the results, they were not what a lot of people would expect. When they looked at the data, a really, really clear story started to emerge. Two of our suspects were, without a doubt, having a huge impact on whether students plan to use ChatGPT. But that third one? It barely even made a blip on the radar. And here it is, the big reveal. The data came back with a super clear verdict. The idea that usefulness and ease of use are huge drivers? Absolutely. The data backed that up big time. But that whole idea that social influence or peer pressure was a big deal? Nope, total bust, not supported at all. And just look at this. You can see how huge the difference is. Usefulness and ease of use are the absolute heavyweights in this fight. And social influence, it's barely even in the ring. The impact was so tiny that the study found it wasn't even statistically significant. We're talking not even in the same league here. And just to really hammer this point home, here's a direct quote from the researchers themselves. They state very clearly that the effect of social influence was not statistically significant. So what's the takeaway? Students are not using ChatGPT because it's the cool, trendy thing to do, or just because their friends are doing it. Okay, so what do we do with this? What does this really surprising result tell us about students today and what it means for the future of tech in the classroom? It's a really fascinating question when you stop and think about it. I mean, in almost every other part of our lives, social proof is huge. So why, when it comes to a game-changing tool like ChatGPT, does it suddenly become a non-factor? Well, the study actually offers a pretty compelling answer. See, unlike older generations who might have needed a friend or a teacher to kind of walk them through new tech, today's students are digital natives. They've literally grown up swiping, tapping, and figuring out apps and tools on their own. So for them, it's not about what's trendy, it's about what works. It's function over fad. So this really all boils down to a few key takeaways for different groups. If you're a student, the message is pretty clear. Trust your gut. Use the tools that genuinely help you learn better and faster. If you're an educator, this means you should probably focus on tech that's genuinely effective and easy to use, not just whatever's getting all the buzz. And for the people actually building these tools, the lesson is crystal clear. You can't just rely on social media hype. Your product has to deliver real, tangible value, and it better be dead simple to use. At the end of the day, it really all comes down to this. When a student is looking at a new piece of tech for school, they are being incredibly practical. They're asking two questions. Does it help me? And is it easy? That's it. Everything else, all the social noise, it just seems to fade into the background. And that leaves us with one last kind of provocative thought to chew on. If this generation of digital natives is already tuning out social influence when it comes to practical tools, what does that mean for the next wave of technology coming our way? Are we heading into a future where pure, simple usefulness will always beat hype? It's definitely something to think about.